You guys obviously just signed Osaze De Rosario. What did you see from him in the game that he played for you, and then also against the Timbers that sort of helped along this decision?
Well, the decision was coming not just the last couple of weeks. Obviously, Jordan's re-injury probably had something to do with it, but Osaze's been on a track, upward trajectory. The kid's got good starting points, that's what I would say. So in our game, some of his hold-up play, his ability to be physical, and then he misses the goal, which everybody sees, but I liked what I saw in all the other important parts of the game. And then against the Timbers, scored a goal. Started the team to come back, and was involved with a lot of their attacking moments, and so that was a good performance.
I've talked to some of the other coaches on the team about the work he's been doing off the field to sort of get better in terms of like film and those kind of things. Have you seen that improvement? Have you seen him? Does he look like a different player now than he was when he first got here?
Well, he still looks the same to me. I'm glad he's doing other stuff. I've seen the improvement. But if you're asking me if he's a completely 100% different guy, no. But I do know that Craig and H and Mikey and, the guys on my staff, whenever we have the young players up, they do a good job. We do a good job as a club getting guys in the pipeline, and if they work out, great. If they get an opportunity, that's great. And we'll see if he's one of the kids that can stay up.
Brian, just the integration process, like you said, you've done this before at the club. How do you get him in games? Kind of, what's that formula?
Well, he's going to come with us on the trip, so there might be some minutes for him. We still have to make sure that we've got a plan, but then the result of the first game might change the plan for games 2 and 3. But if there's any a chance that he can play, it's in this stretch of 2 weeks where we have 3 games in a week. So we'll integrate him as best we can, or when we need him, and that'll be an opportunity for him.
And then the character of a young man like that, he had a big name to live up to. And I asked Craig the same question. He said, he's humble.
Yeah, I would say that. He's a humble kid, works, does the work we ask him to do, never complains. I don't know what that's like, living in the shadow of someone like Dwayne De Rosario. He was a MLS MVP. He's got a lot of accolades, so I'm sure there's parts of that is challenging. But certainly you could look at it the other way and say maybe his dad was a role model. You never know.
What are some for you? I'm sorry. Can he play defense? Because that's your.
Okay. I was going to say he should have done better on the corner that Portland scored, but it was a foul against Andrew. But,
right.
At the far post, he's got a Mark McGraw. But, he'll get there. Look, he's here to, yes, do the defending that he needs to do from that position. But he's here to, score goals and make life difficult for center backs. That's what he's going to be good at.
What are some aspects of his game as a striker that you feel like will translate easy into MLS from what he's been playing at MLS?
Well, size, strength, speed, power, those are all things. MLS sometimes can be an athletic league. There's teams in our league certainly that can play the ball as well, but, that's certainly a good starting point.
When it comes to the group, I just wanted to get a look into Albert and Ferreira. Both were modified somewhat in training this week. Was their status? Are they okay?
They're going on the trip, ready to play.
As the Rosario enters the league to a more to get signed to the first team, the physicality of the league is something that. Do you have to then harness and teach him to continue to be himself and not necessarily be so concerned about how physical the league is, or is that something that just comes natural?
Look, I don't mind if he's got a little fire in his belly. I don't mind that. If you're big and strong and powerful, why not use it? But you can't go over the edge. I know where you're going with that. You can't go over the edge. You got to make sure your composure is good, because you can't take a silly yellow or a red card because you think you're big and strong. Got to be smart.
You mentioned the foul that should have been on Andrew. Overall, what were your impressions of that Tacoma-Portland game?
It was an exciting game. I mean, everybody's talking about the game earlier in the morning. I loved the Tacoma game. I mean, it was good. It was exciting, emotions. The kids played their guts out. I thought it was great.
Did it open your eyes in terms, or did it? I don't know. I'll put it another way. Did you see what you wanted to see from
Yes.
the young guys?
Yeah, I think the guys that we're looking at to sign next, they had good performances.
Do you feel that the development that's happening at Tacoma is in line with the development that you are looking to get out of those investments?
That's probably a question more for Craig. As far as players coming to the first team to help us win games, I mean, Jackson, Paul, the list is long. So we've done a good job, but whether we bear fruit and eventually, because the roster is at some point going to get saturated, we can't have 40 guys on the roster. At some point, we're going to have to sell some guys, and that's part of the development pipeline as well, and it's something that the club, I feel, is heading towards it.
The player who maybe I was surprised played in that game was Kalani. What was the decision process around having him play in that game?
Because he could, and we wanted to put a strong lineup out there, and Kalani needs games at right back in a back line of 4. There's a lot of reasons.
Did you like him there?
Yeah. If we're going to switch back and forth, back line of 5, back line of 4, Kalani needs a little more seasoning in a back line of 4.
Houston coming up, challenges from Olsen and that squad, a little different than what you saw here a couple months ago.
Yeah, he's got a new shiny winger. They've been playing better. I like Benny. I love Benny. He's a good coach. He'll be ready for us. We've had good battles going back and forth here the last couple of playoffs, years in the playoffs, and the game earlier this year wasn't easy either.
What are some things that maybe the team can do to get a good result, considering Houston and being away?
Continuing some of our home form on the road, because our home form has been really good.
Just real quick on Jackson Reagan, what's his status?
He is not going to go on this trip, and even probably not going to go on LAFC. Maybe Portland. There was a couple of things that we wanted to get right before we sent him back on the field. So he's going to be delayed another 3-4 training sessions.